Hello. Well, it's my pleasure to be here again, and I'm welcoming you to another session of our course on effective thinking through mathematics. As you know, the goal of this course is to help you to learn to actually think better. And what I mean by that is that I have in mind the idea that through actual intentional practice, you can become better at solving challenges in your own life, whether they're professional challenges or personal challenges or even mathematical challenges. But most of the challenges I'm anticipating that you will apply your new skills to have nothing to do with mathematics. But they do have to do with thinking clearly. And so what we're going to do is illustrate today an example of how you personally can develop a better method of thinking for yourself. Now, I have to tell you, when I'm teaching classes myself here at the University of Texas, my classes are conducted in a very interactive kind of a way. The students are at the blackboard, presenting work that they have personally proved on their own. I've given them challenge questions. They work on them over for a week or two, and then they present their work at the board. To me, the only way for you to learn to think better is to practice yourself, to practice techniques and to actually struggle with ideas. So what I'm going to try to illustrate today is a technique of learning to delve deeply into some idea, and we'll pick a mathematical idea, and illustrate the idea of how it is we come to understand something more deeply. Now, let me give you an example of a strategy that is often used, and it's extremely effective. And this is the strategy of taking complicated situations and breaking them down into simpler and simpler pieces. Because if we break them down into little simple pieces that we can call elements, pieces that we can't break down further, then we can understand those individual pieces and then see how they're combined to create the more complicated world that we're really trying to understand. So let's go ahead and think of some mathematical realm in which we might hope to understand that realm better. So today what we're going to do is talk about the natural numbers. Now you may remember the natural numbers are the simplest numbers that there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, forever. Those are the natural numbers. And their name, natural, comes from the idea that it seems so natural to count things in that way. There's 1 of something, 2, 3, 4. But these are wonderfully rich objects. And what we're going to do is try to understand them more deeply using this strategy of breaking them down into smaller parts and to finding out what the elements are of them. Basically, how can we take a big number and produce it from smaller numbers? And when we do so, we can think of those smaller numbers as the numbers which are more elemental. They're the ones from which the more complicated things are built. They're the building blocks. So what we're going to do today is to seek an understanding of the building blocks of natural numbers.